For upholstery, what properties should it have? So things to look for and requirements. Definitely, again, as I've asked you before, think about your furniture. Think about how many times you sit on it. Do you sit on it carefully? You just jump on it, just, lie on it, put your shoes on it. The abuse that it gets on a daily basis. So it needs high abrasion resistance. So when you sit down, lay down, plop down on that couch or on the chair, there's a lot of rubbing going along. So it has to have a lot of high abrasion resistance. High tensile strength. It needs to be strong because these are yarns that are getting a lot of abuse on items that are used frequently. Good hand. I mean, no one wants to sit and feel itchy, rough fabric. I mean, no one does. No one wants to sit and then have the back of their thigh like itch. It doesn't feel good. You want it to be the adequate construction type. Definitely, we don't really use knits. I mean, there are certain bedding sets that are like jersey knit. You'll see these more like for like for dorm rooms. Have you seen those extra long twin bed sets? You'll see like these jersey bed sets, but rarely, and sometimes novelty pillows that have like a cable knit. Usually they're not knit though. 98% of the time, 99% of the time, it's going to be a woven. You usually don't get knits for upholstery. So that's why when you had like a knit lace, and I said, what's a good end use? And you would put like upholstery. I'm like, nope, that would not be good for that. Or lace, lace curtain. But I'm like, nope, this is better for apparel. The woven lace is what's appropriate for draperies. Color fastness to crocking, light, and environmental pollutants. Because you have furniture by a window or getting direct light from sun or draperies that are framing the window, you do need them to have color fastness to light so they don't fade from the sun and from crocking, from rubbing, and certain pollutants like having the air, when it's by a window and you open the window. Environmental pollutants can affect the color and the surface of the fabric. So you have to look at that. Resistance to seam slipping. You don't want the seams to slip. Sometimes you can get away with that in apparel for items that aren't worn that often, but you can't get away with that in furniture, interiors, because of the wear and tear. So if there's seam slippage, it's going to happen pretty early, pretty fast. So you want to have secure seams, and you want to make sure that fabric won't slip through the seams. So that's very important. Ideally, no pilling and shedding. Usually you'll get that when it's high maintenance fabrics or it's ridiculously old. You might see some pilling, but it is a sign of lesser quality because you don't want that. Things that resist pilling will last longer and have a better overall image when it comes to going back and buying more pillows from that place. Flame resistant, again, doesn't ignite immediately. You want it to, take slow to ignite, slow to burn. Makes it safer, because if everything ignited so quickly, I mean, your house would burn down in a matter of seconds, or right under a minute. So you need to make sure that flame resistance would be something of a safety issue. It does have to be also on grain. That kind of goes without saying, but it's important. Now, what's interesting about grain is that we have two main grain lines for interiors, and it's up the bolt or to railroad. So up the bolt goes on a vertical, and railroad, think of it like the railroad slats, and it goes, you turn it around and go sideways. So this is a great graphic to show you up the bolt, which is this, and railroad. You need to know this because this will be on the test, so you need to know this. So quiz, is this on the bolt or up the bolt, or is it railroad? Guess. On the bolt, or up the bolt, you are correct. Okay, if it was railroad, you'd have to imagine this turned around. Okay, and it would be going this way. Okay, on the seat. Okay, so that's up or on the bolt. Now, weak points. So things to think about. Any place there's a curve or a corner is a weak point. So it's going to be more prone to areas getting worn. And why? Because fabric is getting stretched out a little bit more, and usually because you want a good smooth fit, so they're stretched, so that's under constant pressure. Okay, so those are weak points. They're also subject to maximum abrasion. They're exposed, and especially any fabric that has pile in it, those things get rubbed right on the corner and edge, and that pile can rub off. So what you can do is do a latex backing or another type of backing, but usually it's latex. So you can add for support. Another thing you can do to go around that is use higher yarn twist for the yarns in those fabrics. That will help in those areas of corner and curves. In terms of care, and we'll talk about caring for your textiles as a separate section, but for when it comes to interiors, definitely frequent vacuuming all the time. Dust becomes embedded when not removed, and it'll get stuck in there. So you want to remove it while it's on the surface. So the number one care that's continuous is frequent vacuuming, whether it's a handheld vac, an actual Dyson that really sucks up from underneath, steam cleaning, but vacuuming and removing the debris on the surface is really important for cleaning and care. But then when you go to stains, these codes are important, the WS, and X. So W is use water-based upholstery cleaner only. S is for solvent-based upholstery cleaner only. WS means you can use either water or solvent. And X, do not clean with either water or solvent. Basically, you can just, light brushing or vacuuming. That's it. So whenever you see that X, that just means you can vacuum. That's the equivalent of like remember I told you about the fake leather pants? And when fake leather first came out, it was like you couldn't wash it. You can dry clean it. You could wear it. And they said with a very lightly damp cloth, you can wipe spot clean. And that was it. And you're like, good luck with that. So yeah, if you see that X, that is high maintenance. You cannot use water and you can't use a solvent. Which makes it really hard to clean. So these are the cleaning codes. So certain stains and certain fabrics can only be treated with specific cleaning treatments. Now carpet, it consists of pile for the most part, and it's obviously you can observe the yarns. Ground or back holds the yarn. So the backing is what holds those yarns together. Tufted carpets usually have two backings. Once in a while you'll see one layer of backing, but typically has two. Usually you have acrylic, nylon, and olefin are the most common fiber contents for carpet. Now, when we talk about carpet, now this is an area rug that if you stretch this out from wall to wall would be carpet. For commercial, they get assigned traffic classifications. Now, for home, getting a roll of carpet from reaching from one wall to the other. But for commercial, you do get some classifications depending on how much traffic you're expecting or use you're expecting on that carpet. Now this is just a graphic so you can see the pile and the primary backing, then the secondary backing. This is what gives it the longevity of a tufted carpet construction. I've already showed you tufted material, but that's specifically for carpet. In terms of durability, this is a great chart for you to look at so you can see the fiber content, yarn type, the density, and the appearance, retention factors, and the non-appearance. So things that you have to consider in terms of quality for carpet. So these will affect durability. This is for appearance retention, and this is for non-appearance. So like thermal insulation, static control, sound absorption, heat resistance, things like that. So these are all the areas that you would look for, and depending on what you need, you would get the fabrics that best perform to what you needed to perform. Are you going to find a carpet that's affordable and has all these? No, you're not. You're not. Absolutely not. You have to pick and choose. The more factors it covers, just realize, what do you think? Guess what that will do to the price? It will go up, absolutely. So if it goes up for you to make or order, it's going to go up for the customer to buy. Now I mentioned the traffic rating. So there's 3 classifications: class 1, 2, and 3. So class 1 is light traffic, and this is and it gives you what it's appropriate for. So like apartments, a room of worship, executive office. This is again for contract. Class 2, medium traffic, recreational boat, locker room, lounge, library, bank teller office. So medium use. And classification 3, cafeteria, school lunchroom, retail store aisle, theater, airport, things like that. They're expecting a lot more traffic. This gives you, and again, this is for contract or commercial fabrics. Bedding usually gives you 100%, usually you're looking at 100% cotton, or a blend of polycotton is the most common. Muslin and percale. Percale is better quality, and it's the most common that you'll see in sheets. Better quality, use combed yarns and higher thread count. So the thread count is important for quality for a customer. The thread count are yarns per inch, right? So 300 to 650 is typical, and it goes up to 1,000. That's super expensive, super high quality. Usually we're looking at a plain weave, and for satin luxury sheets, we're looking at a satin weave. But they do have some snags. If floats are longer, so they'll snag a little bit more. So you have to be careful. But plain weave is the most common. Anything under 300 or 300 or below is not the best quality. You want something in the middle and going towards the upper number. The higher the yarn count, the more yarns, the more quality. It also does make it a little stiffer. They tend to get softer as you wash them. So that's another thing. Some people are surprised when they get expensive sheets. They're not soft instantly. It's because of the higher thread count. You have to kind of break them in and wash them. They do get softer though. So overall trends when it comes to, go back, interior fabrics. So I wanted to show these, and this is for, I didn't go because of how 2020 started, everything changed. So these are the trends to try from 2019. Things that have been in boucle. So remember that's in the yarn section. So boucle for upholstery pieces have been popular in the showrooms, and it gives kind of a cozy feel to it, especially when you have a minimalist look. So that's one of the trends that they were talking about. Things that are kind of considered passe. I mean, I say you use what you want, but leather is considered like out. But some people really have been liking it. It's just the trend is now more sustainable, and leather, because it's made out of animal skin, is like considered a no-no. So leather is on its way out. Palm prints are huge for wallpaper and for pillows and for sheets. Layering is really big. You hear that in apparel. Actually, layering in interiors is really popular, and not so matchy. So like you don't have to use all the same chairs. So looking at a cohesive way of using different, slightly different like neutrals and colors and textures and styles. So it's not like the same chair, like all these would be the same chair, and they definitely would be exactly the same style as the couch. So layering is really good. Low profile furniture is on its way out. I'm not really surprised just because it looks dated. It looks like the 70s. I worked at an office where it started in the 70s, and this is what that looks like. So that's on its way out. Curved sofas are becoming really popular. That's actually strengthening, or was after this happened. I don't know what's going to happen to furniture sales, but that started getting more popular. Focusing a room around a TV is kind of on its way out. Oversized nightstands. So this covers not just textiles, but other things from Elle Decor. So you can take a look at this. It's really interesting. And it talks about, again, these trends some of them are kind of slowing down now in 2020, and others are catching on, like the curved sofa was catching on in 2020 even stronger. So take a look at that. If you download the PowerPoint, you can get the link. Okay. And yeah, that's it for interiors. Our next lecture will be on textile testing. So thanks for listening.